Hi there! Thanks for joining me today as we take a quick look at the project lifecycle and what you should know about it before you start running a project. I'm Caleb, and welcome to Jexo, the Atlassian marketplace partner that helps project and product managers prioritize, plan, and track their work with our Jira plugins. Now, let's get down to business. What is a project lifecycle? In order to simplify the management of activities and processes in a project, the project is broken down into a series of phases or stages, which together form a life cycle. Project lifecycle phases are quite different across the Waterfall and Agile methodologies, especially given that Agile projects rarely stop when the product or deliverable is released. However, what is common in both methodologies is that both phases inform the processes a project manager might need to manage and ultimately how the project data model will come together. In Waterfall, there are 4 high-level phases in a lifecycle: initiation, planning, execution, and closure. A 5th phase is often added depending on the project type, called monitoring and controlling, which can be useful if the execution phase is quite long. On the other hand, Agile has a different approach with a high-level lifecycle: concept, inception, construction, release, production, and retirement. However, Agile also has sub-life cycles to account for: the iteration phase that includes stages like requirements, development, testing, delivery, and feedback. Certain Agile project types will have variations of the stages that I just mentioned, and may have shorter cycles with fewer phases to make things simpler. Because the project lifecycle can drive project management processes and team activities, it is important to map these out for your project at a high level and overlay them on top of your project plan. However, because lifecycle phases use everyday words with clear meanings, it is also helpful to use them when describing project status or progress to stakeholders. You can think of the project lifecycle as a guide for the project manager to use for the team to follow and mark progress. Where waterfall lifecycle management will be quite strict, the Agile lifecycle should ideally be based on the team's way of working and allow for team decision-making to advance through the stages. Let's have a closer look at the Waterfall project lifecycle first. The first stage of the lifecycle is project initiation. The processes that run in the initiation phase are to define the project's objective and measurable success criteria, as well as assign and agree on project key roles. The planning phase, as the word infers, is used to define how the project will achieve the objective that was agreed upon in the initiation phase. The project manager will develop the project plan, which should include a detailed structure, risk assessment, resource plan, financial forecast, and other details that will be used for the project baseline. In many governance models, this is where a business case is developed to provide an estimate that is as accurate as possible to draw down on investment in order to fund the next phases and complete the project. The execution phase is where the planned tasks are completed and where you will likely find the go live or release milestones. Monitoring and controlling is an additional phase that establishes additional processes for the project manager to oversee the project quality and outcomes. The project closure is the last phase in the Waterfall project lifecycle. The project closure defines the number of activities to finalize and close the project. So these were the typical phases of the Waterfall project lifecycle. However, nowadays, more and more projects have moved to Agile project management that requires different processes and go through different stages. Let's have a look at the example of Agile project lifecycle stages like conception, inception, construction, requirements, testing, delivery, feedback, release, production, and retirement. The first stage is concept, and it's very similar to the initiation phase of waterfall projects, where the project is conceptualized. However, there is a greater focus on demand management or prioritization than you might see in Waterfall. In the inception phase, the project starts to come together with resources assigned as team members defining and agreeing upon the required investment. High-level requirements are understood, and potentially high-level epics are defined, and technical enablers are finished. Construction is sometimes called the iteration phase. In this phase, the project team continually completes development iterations and feedback loops. The iterations can have the following subphases within construction: requirements, where feedback is continually reviewed and requirements and developing user stories are prioritized in project and sprint backlogs. Development, where the design and development tasks are completed. Testing, where completed tasks are reviewed and tested. Delivery phase, when a new iteration is released. Then the feedback phase, where feedback is monitored in order to loop back into the requirement phase and start a new iteration. The next phase is release, which includes pre-release activities that can broadly be captured under quality assurance, but also includes testing and system documentation, It can also include readiness activities for operational and end users. And the release phase, of course, includes the release to production and any relevant compliance tasks or immediate post-go-live support that is required. The production phase includes the ongoing support of the developed product in production, which will likely include multiple iterative releases and improvements over time. And the last phase is retirement, which is likely to be sometime in the future. It is possible that many project teams will never see such a phase. However, part of the development lifecycle includes end-of-life application management or migration of users to a replacement or a new service. These project lifecycle phases act as a guide for how a project can be run to follow best practices. Any project manager can come up with their unique version of phases and may also create a hybrid of Waterfall and Agile approaches. As long as the end-to-end processes to achieve project outcomes are managed well, it is entirely up to you and your team to use what will work best for you. That's about it for the introduction to project lifecycle phases for both Agile and Waterfall projects. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to our Jexo YouTube channel so that you can stay up to date. See you next time, and until then, happy project planning.